안녕하세요. 비트POV입니다. 오늘은 스트래티지의 회장인 마이클 세일러의 팟캐스트 영상을 준비했습니다.
It's a simple formula if you want to make 10x your money or even 100x your money. And this is the formula. Find something in the world everybody needs, nobody can stop. And if you find that, but you go and you talk to a bunch of people with more money than you, and they're older than you, and they're more successful than you, and they all say, I don't get it. Okay, at that point, the cowardly response, the loser response is, well, a lot of people told me to give up on it because they don't get it, so I won't get it. And the right response is, I'm going to study it and decide if they're wrong, and I'm going to make a decision for myself. When Wall Street hated it, if I bought Bitcoin, then I'm getting rich.
When was the first light in the brain where you go, is there a moment the light bulb just went, this is where I'm going to take my financial life?
I think in March of 2020, during the COVID panic and the lockdowns, the economy came to a grinding halt. Everybody went home. We had the 15 days to stop the spread. There was a lot of anxiety in the economy. And then we saw interest rates get taken to zero. And it's almost like the economy just stopped. If you actually were in Wall Street or you owned a bunch of financial assets, you're probably going to be okay. But if you're on Main Street and you're trying to actually do things like run a restaurant or a yoga salon, you were going to have a bad year. And then I looked at the government basically printing money. So, I thought if we shut down the economy for 2 years, that's going to cost a lot of money. And that's going to get printed. And so I saw hyperinflation, coming at the end of those lockdowns. And that's the point where I said to a friend of mine, so tell me about that Bitcoin thing again.
Do you think people buy more out of FOMO? Or do you think humans are motivated, especially with Bitcoin, by logic, where they go?
We say that Bitcoin is on a need-to-know basis. I think that people that discover Bitcoin, they discover it because they need to know about it. I think when I was thinking about it, it was 4,000 or 5,000 a coin for Bitcoin. And when we started buying it in size, it was in the mid 9,000s and 10,000, 11,000, and it's 10x since then. But to be clear, the brilliant idea of Bitcoin is digital property, and it's the most simple idea imaginable. Do you want to buy 1/21 millionth of all the money in the world for all of eternity? Like the product's going to be the same in 100 years, 500 years, 1,000 years?
But what's your counter argument if people say, yeah, Bitcoin's good, but it's too speculative. It moves in 1 year from 15,000 to 100,000. What's your counter?
I think the important thing is to understand it not as a digital currency, but as digital capital. So if you ask the question, what did your Monet cost in 1930 and what does it cost today? The point really is the people that bought Monets or they want to buy Bitcoin, those are not speculators. So you should think of it as scarce, desirable property, something that a government can't make more of. And Bitcoin happens to be the most desirable global capital asset. People are buying it because the alternative is to buy a building in Africa, or to haul a bunch of gold bars, or to worry about someone spilling coffee on their Van Gogh. Okay, I kind of like the idea that I can hold $1 million worth of value on my phone, and I don't have to worry about someone spilling coffee on it. And if I needed to send it from here to Tokyo on Saturday afternoon in half an hour, I could do it. That's the way to think of Bitcoin. At some point in your life, you have a successful business, you're wealthy, you have succeeded in life, you've had a family, you've got respect. And it's inevitable in human condition that as you progress through your life cycle, you become more conservative, more comfortable in your ways, and more comfortable in your assumptions. As I said, Bitcoin's on a need-to-know basis. You can't expect someone at the end of their career who's been successful with a different set of techniques and technologies and systems of thought So they're thinking about their frame of reference. You know, he or Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, they have their frame of reference, but they're not 20-something years old in Venezuela or Argentina watching their money melt down a toilet, right? So I think that the people that embrace crypto and embrace Bitcoin, they're the new generation.
If you're a betting man, Bitcoin hits 1 million when?
I will just tell you, I think it's 13 million in the year 2045. I think it'll grow between 30 and 60% a year for the next 5 to 10 years. And then I think it's growing 60% a year right now. I think it will decelerate to be growing 20% a year, 21 years out. And so it could surge up, you know, quite quickly over the next 4 years, and you would get there in 4 to 8 years. But, it's very volatile. It takes a random path, and we can't be quite sure. So I think I would take a more open-minded view. I would just assume that it's going to keep grinding up. It'll do the serpentine thing. And the volatility is good because if it was straight line growing and everybody saw that it was very predictable, then a bunch of people richer than you that you don't like would just buy it all and you wouldn't be able to get any. The volatility is a gift to the faithful.
마이클 세일러의 팟캐스트 영상을 잘 보셨나요? 마이클 세일러에 대해 모르시는 분이 계실 것 같아서 간단히 소개해드리겠습니다. 마이클 세일러는 스트래티지라는 회사의 CEO인데요. 그의 회사 운영 방식은 독특하고 도전적인 것으로 유명합니다. 스트래티지는 본래 소프트웨어 기업이었으나 사채를 써서 비트코인을 매수하는 기업으로 변질되었습니다. 최근에 지속적인 전환 사채를 써서 비트코인을 매수하고 있는데 이는 레버리지 투자이기 때문에 큰 리스크를 안고 가는 것이겠죠. 스트래티지의 비트코인 평단은 약 66,000달러라고 하는데요. 만약 스트래티지가 파산한다면 이는 FTX 파산, 루나 사태, 전염병 19 사태를 뛰어넘는 이전까지 볼 수 없었던 큰 악영향을 끼칠 것으로 분석된다고 합니다. 마이클 세일러가 말했듯이 코인은 엄청난 변동이 동반되기 때문에 보수적인 접근을 권장드립니다. 오늘 영상이 유익하셨다면 구독, 좋아요 부탁드리며 010-5239-9699로 구독 2글자 문자 주시면 거시경제와 실전 매매까지 저의 매매 노하우를 100% 무료로 공유해드릴 예정이오니 많은 참여 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.